If you're not getting the results you want, is it the product, you? Is it your philosophy? Is it your attitude? And then how do you adjust to market forces in a dynamically changing world? Hello, my name is Greg Woodman, and today I want to talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, design thinking, and strategic filters that I've come to learn as I teach college students here at Penn State University. And, I call it the kind of the flip of the script, flip of the coin. And I want to first start with my visit to Costco Friday. I was in Columbus, Ohio, attending the Penn State Ohio State football game. And we showed up in Columbus, Ohio in our Airbnb. And the first thing my family of five wanted to do was to go to Costco. And after spending 60 minutes there and walking out with a $450 bill, I was amazed at the joy of the four other family members of their score, their win, and how they felt so connected to buying so much food. And I was saying, guys, we're not even bringing anything to the tailgate tomorrow. We're going to a tailgate. This is just for Friday night dinner, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday morning breakfast, and we're leaving town. I said, how the heck are we going to consume $450 worth of food? And everybody said, oh, we will. I was amazed at the joy and the affinity. My son picked up the tab and glowingly talked about his joy of Costco. And the next day at the tailgate, Costco came up because I'm very inquisitive about how this company seemingly taking a transactional sale, inserted love and heart into a transaction for toothpaste or meat or otherwise transactional things that they have found a way in these modern times to have some type of love infused into the membership, into the joy, and have turned everyone who has a membership into ambassadors and evangelists for what is a big warehouse worth of items. So I went studying this, I went into saying, how have they done that? So I've been asking everyone about their joy of Costco. But next day at the tailgate, everybody goes off into moments of amazement of their joy of Costco, buying windows, buying refrigerators. And I was just so inquisitive because I study business models since I teach a class on entrepreneurial leadership. And certainly we have studied Airbnb and the network effect of social media, the new models that have come about in the last 15, 20 years, certainly including Amazon. And now this is Costco, and I've certainly studied Walmart on Sam Walton's doing everything the opposite Sears has done to become what Walmart is. And then somebody comes in like Costco and puts their spin on it, much like Chick-fil-A has put their spin on fast food. In studying the membership and affinity and kind of the threading the needle of how they've pulled this off, and now everybody's begging for one to come to their town, and some people buy homes near a Costco. It's making decisions on where you live and where you buy a $800,000 house is into its closeness to a Costco. So how did this company do it? I go back to the strategic filter of fear versus love and kind of understanding from the point of view of consumers, and then putting their spin on it and their flip of the script. And even down to they only mark their products up 14.6% in a world that marks things up 50%, so, and then plus the discovery they have and the limited SKUs they have, and so I love to study success. And I love to study kind of the framework of success. And I always find it starts with the philosophy of the ownership, in this case of Costco, the philosophy that then leads to kind of the attitude, then leads to the activity, then leads to the results. And then if the results aren't what it's supposed to be, you go back and tweak the philosophy, the attitude, or the activity. I'm always trying to break down and kind of crack the code and then humanize this to we the people, and to humanize design thinking and to humanize customer discovery, and ultimately learning that we are here on earth to serve others in our lives. We are here to serve the stakeholders in our life, our family, our friends, our siblings, and our parents, and ultimately in business, our customers. So to kind of flip the script from me as the hero to humanizing, that we are the guide and we are to serve others and we are to kind of customer discovery, and continually tweaking our product, continually growing and tweaking ourselves to meet the market, like Costco has met the market. And now the Macy's of the world are scratching their head. Humanize that. If you're not getting the results you want, is it the product? Is it your philosophy? Is your attitude? And then how do you adjust to market forces in a dynamically changing world? A lot of what I have learned in kind of trying to teach these theses and theories of business models in the 4 Ps of marketing: product, price, placement, and promotion, is that you are a product. You are a service/product, and you have a price that you go to market with, and you have a placement of where you distribute yourself, where you live, and who you serve. And then the 4th P is promotion: how you market yourself to the world. How do you listen to the market, and how do you please it and tweak your product to continually evolve as the market evolves? It changes as it does every day. So to be flexible and agile, to keep your business model winning so you can get the results you want in your life. So I'm just going to go through some kind of the things that I call the flip of the script, tied to your philosophy. Do you have an abundant philosophy versus a scarcity philosophy? Are you led by heart? Is your operating system more fear-based? Do you wake up every day with gratitude and in love with life? Are you feeling a little more entitled, like the world is to serve you versus you to serve the world? That might spur a philosophy of entitlement. Do you operate from a selfless strategy? Selfless, that you're to give, not to take. You're to serve. You're to be the guide, not the hero. Or do you have more of a selfish, what can you do for me kind of attitude? Is it more of a we, all boats rise together versus me, we versus me? Certainly we is the better operating system, which historically has proven leads to happiness, versus me, and selfishness. Are you thinking long-term? Are you playing the long game? Are you building your product and yourself for the long haul, versus just short-term kind of fear-based results? Strategically, that drives your philosophy versus tactically. Delayed gratification, building a product that lasts. All of this is the operating system of designing the brand that is you, and you as a product slash service. Are you attacking this day-to-day creatively, or just driven more emotionally? Kind of creative tension is been proven to be far better than emotional tension. Emotional tension is kind of taking your current state and pulling you back from a fear-based feeling of unworthiness or scarcity and fear. And that causes emotional tension, where you need willpower to kind of push through that, versus having a vision and having a love of your vision and a love of your future. That love will pull you forward, where you don't need the push on the back. Are you in love with solving a problem for others? Are you in love with using creative tension to solve things and continually evolve your business model as a human? Are you more curious? Are you endlessly curious versus complacent? Fear thinking kind of draws us into complacency, into apathy, into kind of a stagnation. Whereas a curiosity is like life's an adventure. Oh, this is a problem. Oh, how exciting it is! I get to solve it. I get to flex my mental curiosity and my problem-solving skills. And you smile at problems and you look at them truly as opportunities. And I know a lot of this. Certainly, you can go on LinkedIn and find all these cliches and infographics. You got to internalize it intrinsically to kind of get your operating system kind of in this, it's called design thinking, empathy, plus just iteration and testing and failure equals learning. All of these things are proven to be the innovative thesis and philosophy of how great companies are innovatively solving problems and meeting the moment and meeting the market, and certainly humans too. There's a heck of a lot of good books, from Pathfinders to What Color's Your Parachute. This stuff is pretty much hardwired into proven operating system tweaks of how you approach life, how you approach business. Do you want to build or do you want to extract? There's certainly a lot of money in being an extractor through fear. And harvesting what's there. And then there's more of the innovative mindset, which creates and builds and advances. And it's the opposite of stagnation. You're motivated more intrinsically, you pulled forward intrinsically, or do you need, the stick of extrinsic? Are you always seeking motivation from others? Are you always seeking that only if I was incentivized, only if that's more extrinsic, that's more, I need the stick, and the carrot versus being motivated and pulled forward in more of the love, heart, enduring, that you're moving forward into a North Star kind of vision, that you're in love with that vision, and that excites you and juices you and lights you up, versus needing the stick over your head because you're just out of alignment. There's no clarity there for you. So I can't stress enough how important in my own life is to seek clarity and find and defining what lights me up and running with that versus spending all my time in fear and mitigating my weaknesses that I wasn't enough, versus saying, wow, look at the assets I have, run with those. It all comes down to how you look at embracing challenges, and living in the learning space of kind of the unknown, that you're moving your boat towards this North Star and you're going to go through choppy waters, and living in that frustration mode of kind of overcoming the fear. And that's called by learned pundits, kind of the learning space is the point between your current reality and your vision. And learning to love that frustration of working through that problem. That's called the learning space. So I just thought I'd kind of just give an overview of the philosophy of the mindset that is design thinking. It's called the entrepreneurial mindset. I break it down to the Lewis and Clark Life's an Adventure. They started in Pittsburgh and they had to go find the Pacific Ocean, an uncharted territory in this landmass called the United States of America. And they found the Pacific Ocean, and they had many, many guides along the way that helped them find it. But wouldn't it be fun to be Lewis and Clark? Or on the flip side, you would say, oh, that would be hell. Well, then we need to work on our operating system of, is life an adventure, one to be explored, knowing there was going to be a lot of struggles along the way, but that's the fun of it. So it's the philosophy drives your attitude, drives your activity, drives your results. And as Jim Rohn, who coined this kind of pyramid, it leads to a happier lifestyle. So your philosophy drives your attitude, drives your day-to-day activity, drives your results, drives your lifestyle. And if these things aren't aligned properly, that's okay. You got to go tweak and calibrate. Is it my philosophy leading to my attitude, or do I need to tweak my attitude? And is my activity aligned with my philosophy and my attitude? And then my results will be what I'm expecting them to be. And if they're not, that's okay. It's the speedometer, it's the calibration to say I got to adjust one of those two. So the whole podcast and the things we're trying to do and how I teach is to help align and get crystallized clarity to kind of take your assets that you've mapped and see yourself through others who continually praise you for these kind of unique skills you have, to align them with opportunities to maximize that skill set. And then that's exactly what Costco seems to have done from a business. And I am encouraging us to humanize that and do that as a human. And I really enjoy seeking my own clarity and continually aligning and calibrating when I go off the wagon or chase something shiny, and just make sure it checks the strategic filter. Is it love? Is it love pulling me forward? Or is it fear making me do short-term kind of ego vanity type of things that get me off my alignment to stay true to my own operating system, my own business model, into the path to happiness? Thank you.